Shalom, shalom, beloved. Hola, hello, namaste, ni hao. What else? I hope everyone is well. ¿Cómo estás? Mashlamcha? How are you? How are you all? I realized that I have not done a video in Hebrew or Spanish for a long time now, or at least a fairly distant time. And I know that there are Spanish-speaking viewers, listeners, and Hebrew-speaking listeners, and so I'm sorry. Lo siento. אני מצטערת. I hope to put some up in the near future, maybe for the English speakers with subtitles underneath. I guess I get focused on the English because I know that there are a lot of people who listen that speak English, but there are others who speak Hebrew and Spanish and other languages too. So yeah. Well, it is Sukkot, and first of all, if you are celebrating Sukkot, Chag Sameach, Happy Sukkot. And if you're not, or if you want to learn about Sukkot, you've come to the right place. That's what this video is about. So this is Sukkot. We are celebrating Sukkot. It is 7 days, a festival, a feast of 7 days, with the 8th day being the first day, and then the day after the 7th day is the 8th day, being a Sabbath, to be treated as like a Sabbath, a day of rest, not to do any ordinary work. So this is we have entered into the first day, the Sabbath, and it's just a wonderful, joyful feast. Now, this is not solely a Jewish holiday. I want to make sure that is clear. This is a biblical holiday, a biblical festival, a biblical feast, and it's for all of the people who call on the God of Israel, the one true God. It's for everyone to join in. In fact, the Torah portion for this week, which I got to cantor some of it in the service on Shabbat, the Shabbat before this Shabbat, from Hazinu, it has in there, maybe I should find that for you. It has in the last, the part of the song, because it's a song that Moses sang, a really beautiful verse, pointing to the fact that we are all to celebrate together. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 32. I didn't plan this, so it's alright. If I didn't plan it, that's good, because it's all God's plan. Okay, 32, yes, okay, Devarim, in Be'ivrit, in Hebreo, it's Devarim, Deuteronomy 32, Devarim 32, Deuteronomy, my brain, oh my goodness, 32, yeah, and here it says, okay, O nations, acclaim his people. This particular translation, English translation, is from the JPS. My other Bible, I really like how it translates, but if we go directly to the Hebrew, which is always a very good place to look, to search, it says, Halninu goyim amo, to rejoice, to make, to rejoice nations with his people, with nations his people. Goyim is nations. So this is what God is calling, because he's calling his people. Oh, hopefully my face is in there. I just realized maybe I didn't get my whole face there. I'm sorry if that's the case, but God is calling his people to rejoice together. So this feast of Sukkot is tabernacles or booths, and Fiesta de Tabernacles. Yeah, and this is I'm gonna read about it to you. It's not just here, but it's actually this particular feast is also mentioned in the Brit Chadashah, the New Covenant as well. But I want to read this from Numbers 29. Okay, so about the Feast of Tabernacles of Sukkot. We're going to start in chapter 29, Numbers 29. Bamidbar. Actually, in Hebrew, it's not called Numbers. Numbers is misparim in Hebrew. This is actually called in Hebrew Bamidbar. In the desert or in the wilderness. So that's interesting in itself, because in English it's called Numbers, in Hebrew it's called Bamidbar. So anyways, interesting thought just to share in case you didn't know, but maybe you already knew that. Some of you I know that already. Numbers 29, starting in verse 12. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so it starts out saying, on the 15th day of the 7th month, you shall observe a sacred occasion. You shall not work at your occupations. This English translation is just kind of hard to follow along, I think, to read. I don't know where I put my other Bible. I have multiple Bibles. But anyways, okay, 7 days you shall observe a festival of the Lord. You shall present a burnt offering, an offering by fire of pleasing odor to the Lord. 13 bulls of the herd, 2 rams, 14 yearling lambs, they will be without blemish. The meal offerings with them of choice flour with oil mixed in shall be 3/10 of a measure for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, and 1/10 for each of the 14 lambs. And there shall be 1 goat for sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, its meal offering and libation. Wow, a lot of offerings, for someone like me who loves animals, it's really unpleasant. But again, as I've said this before, sin is not pleasant. And this is really, all these sacrifices are a picture of what the Messiah was going to be doing for us, what he has done for us before the time even came. So that's the first day of Sukkot. As you continue to read on your own, I would encourage you these scriptures. As you continue to read, you'll find out the second day. So that was the first day. The second day, then there's 12 bulls to offer. The third day, then there's 11 bulls to offer, and it goes so forth and so on and so forth. And you get to the last day, and the number is 7 bulls, and then there's the 8th day. That's significant to me? I mean, of course, we know 7, the meaning behind it, oath. It's a binding promise, and it's significant. And this feast is to be done with rejoicing, because we are celebrating. So what is it that we're celebrating? Okay, so we are celebrating at this time the fact that that God has delivered us through that time we were in the desert. He brought us through the desert spiritually and physically through the desert. Even now, so that's why for Sukkot we set up the sukkahs, the temporary dwelling, to be a reminder to us that he did that, plus to remind us that our time here on this earth is temporary. This is only a temporary dwelling. Our bodies here, we are only temporary. Here we have the eternal time with our King to look forward to if we continue to trust him and accept his promises. And so that's beautiful, and that's what's really a huge reminder to me during this time as I look at the sukkah and I look at the tents. I think it's a good thing too, especially when life here on earth, it's good, it's beautiful, there is beauty to it, but wow, the time and the days that will come to be and walk with the Messiah Y-shua. It'll just be literally out of this world. It'll be amazing. So yes, so that's what Sukkot we have. So yeah, some people sleep in their sukkah. I mean, in Israel, sleep in the sukkah. Not everyone sleeps in their sukkah, in their tent, for one reason or another. Some places it's not safe to sleep in your sukkah. In other places it's below zero and you don't have the right clothing to be sleeping in your sukkah. It's just various things. But we are just to take time to, at the very least, to eat your meals in the sukkah. In our situation, that's what we have. We eat meals in it because it's not set up. We don't have it in such a way that we can sleep in our sukkah. Sadly, I wish we could, but we have had a sukkah we could sleep in at one point, but not this year. Yeah. I just had some memories of some kind. Yes. So yeah. Okay. What else about Sukkot? It's just a great time to rejoice. We just came back, my family and I, from celebrating. I mean, this goes on for a whole week, so there's lots of celebration. But it was amazing. And oh, yes, I have to share that at this particular celebration of Sukkot, one of the neatest things happened. One of you out there that you have been watching me on YouTube, you came up to me and you said you'd seen me on YouTube and you never thought you would meet me in person. And so that was really cool, really awesome for me that I got to meet you. Such a blessing and so neat, because it's not the first time this has happened. I think a few people have seen me on YouTube. We got to meet. We came paths crossed, and so I love it when that happens, because I know that my subscribers, you're there, but how awesome it is when we cross paths, when life brings that to be. So that's what took place at the celebration, the beginning of Sukkot, full moon, so beautiful. And so yes, thank you for not only recognizing me but coming out and saying something, because especially with all the dancers, everybody was dancing and having such a great time. It was just, I would not have known. So thank you. That was such a blessing. And blessings to you. Blessings to all of you, of course, who are watching, but you know who you are. who's there. Yeah. So yeah, we let lots of. Oh, okay. So something else. I don't want this video to be too long. That was my goal, but I have to share. Maybe I'll put it below. For Sukkot, we have the different plants and the citron, or if you have a lemon, some people have a lemon or an etrog. Not everybody's got the right thing, but you do with what you have. For the species they have for dancing, for shaking, moving for Sukkot. Maybe you've seen that. I know in the movie, there's a movie, Y-shua, awesome movie, highly recommend it. You see this done, and I'd like to share the significance about that. I forgot about that, so I will share some information below in the description, and you're more than welcome to read that, as well as the scripture I read to you about Sukkot. Yes, I hope my face was in there again. It's like, oh, can't see so well. I forget. So yeah. Any other questions? Feel free to ask about Sukkot. Again, I'm going to put some information below. Thank you all for your support and love and prayers, kindness, and a very happy Sukkot to all. Yeah, very wonderful time. Blessings. Shalom, shalom. Harbe bechot. Bendición. Dios te bendiga. Amen. Shalom. Blessings.